Hello everyone, welcome to another 2v2 battle for Warhammer. This is going to be the greenskins versus vampire counts, and I believe there was 30,000 gold per side, which is a ton. So for my army, we have 3 Arachnarok spiders being led by Grimgor. There's 4 orc boys in here, 4 orc biggins in here, 9 black orcs, because we're again facing off against 2 vampire counts, so I want to be immune to their fear and terror. And then I also have 2 goblin big bosses leading 5 orc boy biggins, one of which is the renowned unit back here, and then a night goblin shaman, which I'm going to kind of keep in the back and use for buffs and debuffs. And currently I am trying to get my forces up very quickly to this choke point here, because I want to hold all of the big creatures right here in the forest is what I wanted to do, and then just getting up on them with our Arachnaroks and our biggins. My ally brought like 4 goblin rock lobbers, one of which is the renowned unit. Over here they have a bunch of black orcs and orc biggins, and then they have a lot of savage orc arrow boys. They're also being led by Grimgor. I think there's 2 giants over here, 3 giants in total, and then they also have 2 Arachnarok spiders and then the crimson killers. Then for the vampire counts, there is a ton of zombies and skeletal warriors. That's what most of these sword icons are. These 4 are actually like the only grave guard in the game. Then everything else, we have a ton of Cryptors, as you can see here with their icons, and then like 4 Vargulfs in total. We have 2 Manfred von Karsteins here and here. We also have Vampire of Death, 3 Terrorgeist, Cairn Race, I think there's 2 of them, maybe just one of them over here. And again, like all of these are Skeletal Warriors. The troop count, you can see they have us outnumbered because they have tons of Skeletal Warriors. Oh, there's also a Vargeist here. And then over here is a ton of zombies. And that's basically the rundown, and also a bunch of Blood Knights back here being led by a Viking. There's just so much stuff, and we're just going to kind of watch this battle unfold. I'm not going to get too commentary on it. Other than the fact that I do summon some spiderlings here to try and stop these Cryptors in the forest, because again I want to stop them here. You can see some of them make it through the choke point along with this Vargulf, so I'm going to be sending in a Arachnarok Queen and some Orc Biggins over there as well. But yeah, I think for the most part we're just going to be watching this battle, because there are a lot of units. I almost marched out of the forest, but then I'm going to try and pull back a little bit, because we want to drag all their big creatures into this forest, so they're at a disadvantage. So Cryptors are a pretty good counter to Black Orcs, but I have a lot of Orc Biggins here. I have a lot of Arachnarok Queens, or Arachnarok Spiders. I have Grimgor over here. I have just hordes of greenskins behind them. And we're fighting in a forest. And then here's a second battle over here at the graveyard. More Vargulfs and Cryptors, and some Orc Boys over here to assist. And then we'll probably restart the battle and look at my allies' side of things. But again, I just kind of want to watch this one. Meanwhile, over here on the flanks, my allies' Cav contingent, which is a bunch of Orc Boys. I don't even think they're biggins, they're just like Orc Boys. Starting to engage with some of the zombies and the grave guards over here, but they're going to be chased off by the Blood Knights and their White King leader. So I'm pulling over my Cav over here as well. They were behind my allies' infantry position. And now I'm going to try and pull out, seeing that these are all Blood Knights. I didn't look before I actually came over here. But we are going to actually fight them about right here. I'm trying to get my Night Goblin Shaman in close enough to start casting debuffs and buffs. Meanwhile, back over here in the main fight for me, just hordes of Cryptors against hordes of Biggins and Black Orcs. And we are winning up the fight over there by the graveyard. And now also the players' zombies have made a line, or have walked from here, and they're trying to get over to this main fight and get behind me, so I'm cutting them off with Black Orcs and Orc Boys over here. You can see just a line of Black Orcs and Orc Boys fighting the zombies as they crawl through, and then we're getting more boys to stop them from actually getting to the main fight up at the forest edge. And then down here, the battle is just raging between my cav, my allies' cav, and these Blood Knights. I'm doing cycle charges, and we are kind of losing because there's also Graveguard in here. But lucky enough, they don't really micro their Blood Knights that much. They just kind of leave them there so they don't really cycle charge at all. But even if they don't cycle charge, they do so well against Orc Boys and Orc Boy Biggins. God, I hate saying that's a mouthful. And here I'm just trying to get what's left of my Orc Boy Biggins around and trying to do a surround on these Blood Knights while casting buffs and debuffs. That was buff. Now you see my allies going to cycle charge. And then I'm going to come in. My forces over here have routed like twice by now, but they are still on the field, including my Goblin Big Bosses, who are also taking a lot of damage at this point. You can see my health bars. There we go. You can see that like they're almost dead, but they will come back. Meanwhile, this just huge line of zombies is just getting crushed by all these Black Orcs and Orc Boys over here, just trying to reach their main fight. But at this point, the Cryptors and the Varghulfs have been dealt with by the just overwhelming numbers of Orcs and Spiders over here being led by Grimgor. We just did a surround and totally murdered them. And again, we'll get to my allies' fight here soon. So now I'm going to move this giant clump down the hill to try and finish off. These are like all zombies. And also try and help our fight against the Blood Knights, who are holding on even through all these cycle charges. But we are whittling them down. God, there are just like 1,000 zombies coming up this hill. But they're just zombies, so like Black Orcs can just cleave them in two. Now, if these zombies, instead of doing the rear maneuver, and if they just went up through the front with their Cryptors, definitely could have made sure their Cryptors lived a lot longer, because this is so much fodder to chew through as the Cryptors are getting hits on my Black Orcs. But this opponent split their army in two, and I was able to just keep them separated, and we killed them. Over here, Graveguard still in high number, Blood Knights not quite as much, but there were 4 of them, I believe. 4 groups of Blood Knights here. So they have whittled my allies' cap down and mine. You can look at my, like, that's all I have left of my cav. Pretty brutal. But they only have, what, like 3 Blood Knights and they're all almost dead? And again, I'm just trying to cleave through the hordes of zombies at this point to get down here and assist against the Blood Knights and the Graveguard. So we're slowly making our way down through this forest. And trying to hold these people in place with Spiderling summons and doing charges with the Orc Boy Biggins. But you see the enemy is going to charge the Graveguard and the Blood Knights into my Orc Horde. More buffs, or debuffs, I don't know which one this is. Buff. Sneaky stabbing being applied on my army as we're doing a rear charge with our Orc, what remains of our Orc cav. And you can see the crumbling effect on these Graveguard and the Blood Knights. They're just totally surrounded and they don't have a chance at this point. There's just too many orcs. So at this point, this side of the battle has been won. So let's restart this battle, and we're going to watch and see how my allies doing, and then the last 2 or so minutes left of the battle. And here is the second Grimgor, just kind of out here, walking around. This enemy army is slowly approaching my allies' position, and their siege engines kind of not in the best of spots because they're right in the middle of the forest. Not entirely sure why. I'm assuming they just clicked an attack order and they just had to move into position. So that's, you know, it's fine. Archers are forming up here trying to get some shots in on the Varghulf as they come in. And you can see this opponent is not really patient, so they're actually going to be charging their Cryptors ahead of the skeleton fodder line that they honestly should be behind. So these Cryptors and the Vargos are getting singled out by all these Savage Orc Era boys. That is not what they want. And here come the Terrorgeists. But like, these Cryptors are just going to get torn to pieces with all of the Orc Archers. Meanwhile, we also do have some Vargos over here taking care of one of the Savage Orc Era boys. But even they are going to get hit by this other group. So yeah, like, Vargeists are, they're a cool unit, but they're one that you really have to keep your eye on, because they are very squishy against a lot of targets. So you can see the skeleton line is finally reaching the battle. We do have some summoned zombies coming down, and the Cairn Racer mixed in here against the spiders and the giant. Also the Crimson Killers. I should have taken the Crimson Killers. I forgot about them. You see these Terrorgeists are already crumbling, and that one's already dead. This one's dying. Giants just taking the brunt of their charge there. I guess there were some Graveguard mixed in here. I thought these are all Skeletal Warriors. Whoops. Man from Karstein just getting peppered. Also, the siege engines are being threatened, I believe, from zombies. No, from the other Manfred. That's right. So their guns or their catapults are about to be silenced. But you can see the Savage Orcs still just getting the arrows on this Vargolf and just tearing it to pieces. We have some summons in the back line taking out those Savage Orc Era boys. It looks like we actually have a chain route here on the main line. Well, no, never mind. It's just one unit. Not exactly a chain route. But an initial victory here for the Graveguard and Cryptor line. The problem is, though, I believe all three Terrorgeists may be dead at this point. Oh, no, they have one left. They have one left. But like these spiders and giants are just going to town on all of these units over here. Though they have taken quite a beating. These two giants are about to fall. But they have weathered Cairn Race, zombies, Graveguard, and two Terrorgeists so far. Now you see the Graveguard charging down the remaining line of the Black Orcs. But we still do have the Savage Orc Era support in the back. The Vargeists are now, I believe they're all dead at this point. Orc Biggins doing what they do. Are you gonna fire? There we go. Grimgore is still very healthy. Not what the enemy wants at this point. Get him, Biggins. Meanwhile, over here with the Monster Patrol, a Ragnarok Queen and the other Ragnarok Spider still doing pretty good. Second giant finally about to fall. The other one, I believe, ran off and routed and maybe dead at this point. The other giant, that is. Crimson Killer's still holding it down against the Skeletal Warriors. Manfred not really getting into the fight at all. None of the heroes are, which is kind of odd. The Vampire and Manfred are both decent combatants in melee. Against certain targets, I guess. Like, I don't know if I would throw a Vampire into a Black Orc group, but maybe a Biggin group. She's not on a horse, they wouldn't get their bonus versus large. This giant does no, it's just getting beat. Oh, wait, no, I think the Vargo's beating on the Black Orcs, technically. Oh, well, maybe not. That giant was just stunned, man. It wouldn't do anything. What are you doing, giant? So there we go. Now the hero's getting into battle. Although Grimgore should be wailing on Manfred, but I guess he hasn't been given an attack order. We have some Orc boys from my side coming in to help against this Vargulf. They had chased like a Cryptor unit or something. They chased them like way over here, so I just threw them into this battle after I realized that they were just kind of sitting there idle. Then here come the rest of my cav. Now that that battle over there is over, you can see we're in the last minute. Gonna come over here and try and... Oh wait, I'm sorry, that's not my cav, that's my ally's cav. My cav is still on its way. But now we're starting to get mass crumbling. Now here we go, Grimgore versus Manfred. I think this is one of the first battles Grimgore's really seen in this battle. But at this point, Manfred is already crumbling, so his time is nearly up. The heroes kind of joined the battle a little too late. And there they go, they are all crumbled. And now all that's left is a summoned zombie, as my other Grimgore horde is coming across the hill to assist second Grimgore, fake Grimgore we'll call him. There can only be one true Grimgore. I mean, that's me, obviously. So this is a fun thematic battle. The enemy was a little impatient with their monstrous creatures and didn't bury them in with the fodder part of their army, which is kind of how you have to run them. So the Greenskins hordes overwhelmed initially all those monstrous creatures like the Cryptors, all the Vargulfs. They were all kind of dead, and then at that point it's just a matter of mopping up the Blood Knights and the Grave Guard. Those Blood Knights gave off a fierce battle, even though they were never cyclo-charged. They are still very strong, just melee cav in general, especially against other Orc boys. But good game to our opponents, and to my ally, we can take a look at the kill, at least my kill count. Can't switch to the others. So that's a whole bunch of numbers. Grimgore netted 50 kills. He was in the main battle against the Cryptors and the Vargulf in that forest over there. And then I'm guessing he got most of his numbered kills off the zombies later on, because you shouldn't get 50 kills off of Cryptors, so that doesn't make sense. The Goblin Big Bosses led the Orc Cav, which overall I think did pretty good. The Spiders did really well. 281 kills for this Black Orc. 200 for this one must have been against those zombies that were trying to pour through. So that's pretty sweet. And then 102 kills for this Orc Boy. Way to go, Orc Boy. Let's see, for 3-7-Up, good game with 3-7-Up and Bandarium. And then Fru Jensen. Anything that stands out? Manfred netting 44 kills is pretty good. Cryptors here and there did pretty good, okay. But again, the problem was they were kind of ran before the skeleton line. If they were fighting with the skeleton line and the Graveguard line, they would have been able to do a lot more. So if I was to say some kind of advice, just keep your Cryptors back and mix them in with your fodder units, and you'll probably get more work done with those. Then the Terra guys kind of fell pretty quickly, because 2 of them charged in against 2 Giants and 2 Ragnaroks, I think, and they just kind of got overwhelmed there initially. But, I mean, 10 kills in this one, I'm sure one of those is at least a Giant, probably. At least dealt a lot of damage to them. I'm not sure. But again, good game to them. Hope you enjoyed this thematic green skin versus vampire battle. And I will see you all next time. Take care.